Something feels terribly wrong with Australia at the moment. Remember in the original Star Wars when they're in the trash compactor and Han Solo says this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, sadly, I've got a very bad feeling about the direction that Australia is headed in. This country seems to have lost its identity and is now standing at a crossroads. I just pray we take the right path before it's too late to turn around. I'm Biko Konstantinos, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The other night I was sitting on the couch and my wife nudged me and said, "You haven't heard a single thing I've said, have you?" I thought to myself, that's a strange way to start a conversation. But you know what wouldn't be strange? Liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Vanilla ice cream is the best flavor because absolutely everything goes with it. And you can't change my mind. Now let's discuss why I think Australia's going down the wrong bloody path. First, our economy's going down the gurgler. Australia doesn't seem to want to promote productivity and innovation, but rather, policymakers seem to want to take the easy road that requires the least amount of effort. And one thing that I often talk about is house prices. And in Australia, there seems to be a relentless drive to always pump up house prices. And that's because it's a simple way to keep the majority of Australians happy, being those who own property. But it's also an easy way to keep the economy growing because when property owners see their wealth increase, they feel much richer and tend to spend more into the economy. And if you don't believe Australia's all in on the housing Ponzi, check out these statements made just before the last election.
Why don't you want to be seeing house prices drop? Because if you're looking to get into the market, if you're a young person looking at what's ahead of you, you definitely want to see house prices come down.
Well, that may be the view of young people. It's not the view of our government. We want to see sustainable price growth.
But Minister, if house prices don't come down, doesn't that mean that this system is stacked against young people, that it's just not going to work for them?
Sure. And Dave, we may have a difference of view about this. I have a strong view. Our government's policies are not going to reduce house prices. We want house prices to grow sustainably.
Would you like house prices to go up or go down?
I want to see them steadily increase. I don't want to see a situation where Labor crashes the economy and somebody who's paid $750,000 for a house today is worth $600,000 in 18 months' time under an Albanese backed government. That would be a disaster.
Now this absolute commitment to ultra high house prices is basically turning the housing market into a sure bet, because if the entire government will do everything in their power to prop up house prices, there's very little downside risk, because you know house prices will only fall if there's an absolute catastrophe out of the government's control. Now the government's just announced that they're fast tracking the 5% deposit home guarantee scheme. This just means that many Aussies will be able to loan more, and because of that, they'll be able to pay more for a home, which increases overall demand, sending house prices even higher. How do you like that for fixing housing affordability? Pretty freaking good, I'd say. But it's not just the artificially pumping of the economy through high house prices and high immigration that's the problem. As a country, we seem to be addicted to spending, and when you spend more than what you receive in revenue, it means you have to print new money out of thin air, and what that does is debase your currency or make the value of every dollar worth less, and that makes everything cost more for Australians, especially hard assets like housing. Now when it comes to housing, unless young people can get massive assistance from their parents, the only two options they'll have is to either rent or buy a home and end up with a ginormous mortgage. Either way, millions of young people will be trapped due to ultra high housing costs combined with ridiculous costs of living. So the economic path we're heading down seems to be pushing Aussies towards poverty, and that's definitely not what I want for our future generations. Next, Australia seems to be going down a path where they're censoring information and ideas as opposed to encouraging healthy debate and prioritizing freedom of speech. I really don't understand why there seems to be this push to control the information that Aussies are allowed to view. Australians are bloody smart if you ask me. They should have access to all the information they want, unfiltered, and they can make up their own decisions on whatever topic or whatever idea they want to pursue. I mean, don't you need all the information available to be able to make an educated assessment. This sort of desire to take full control of the narrative really seemed to start around 2020 when that thing happened and no one was able to debate or even question the official narrative. But even after the learnings from that episode, the desire to control and censor information seems to actually be getting worse. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of democracy, and without a steadfast resolve to uphold it, things can turn to crap real fast. I remember when I was young seeing politicians have these fiery debates, sledging each other's ideas, but that all seemed normal, and all the adults seemed to be talking and debating on pretty much any topic there was. But one thing I don't remember is anyone feeling scared to say something. But shockingly, that's not the case today. There's plenty of topics that seem to be no-go zones where people can't talk and debate freely. And for me, this feels like we're going backwards. Just consider the topic of immigration levels to Australia. This is a topic that's hugely relevant right now because we're in the middle of a housing catastrophe. And by that I mean house prices are ridiculously, insanely high, but also rental vacancy rates are disastrously low. So we've got less rentals available than pretty much every other developed nation in the world, and this is resulting in hard-working Australians who are fully employed being made homeless. Now, the level of immigration has a direct impact on the rental vacancy rate. So because of this, it should be discussed and debated far and wide. But whenever people try to bring it up, it seems to be labelled as racist or anti-immigration. And to me, that's utterly absurd. You can't plan for things like housing and infrastructure if you don't have an idea of the number of people requiring the service. Even the current Prime Minister, after COVID, said that the current immigration system was badly broken, and he flagged plans to scale it back to more sustainable levels. So if we can't freely debate one of the most important issues impacting the country right now, then we're headed down a very dangerous path in my opinion. Lastly, Australia seems to have lost its identity. Yes, we have different political parties and different ideas, but as a nation, do we all feel like we're part of something and moving in the same direction? I used to feel that when I was younger, but lately it seems we're more divided than ever. It just feels to me that things have turned completely upside down. I mean, those who love the country and seem to be proud of it and its heritage, today for some strange reason seem to be ridiculed. That's something that I really don't understand. For to me, that's the same sort of Anzac spirit that the diggers had back in the day when they fought and died for this country. Their sacrifice gave Australia the freedom we currently enjoy today. But if we keep heading down this path we're currently on, that freedom could be lost. I'm Biko Konstantinos.